A deck that I built a few years ago and haven't updated since, Maelstrom Wanderer versus Mazirek, Kraul Death Priest. We've got Sakura Tribe Elder and can easily get into one Power Stone, so I think it's a shock land on turn 1, and then Sakura Tribe Elder the turn after. Yeah, I haven't run this deck in a very, very long time. I think when the bans came originally for the fast mana, I just stopped playing it because I couldn't be bothered to update it along with my 20 other decks, or however many decks I have, I can't remember. And I just haven't played it, but I'm intrigued to see how popular it is on the channel, so here we are with it. Maelstrom Wanderer is 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. For a 7/5, it gives all your creatures haste and you cascade twice when you play it. We'll go for a blue and green source, I think. We have green cards in hand, so we'll do just that. Breeding Pool comes in tapped. And then we are online for our Sakura Tribe Elder on turn 2. Our opponent is also ramping with the Llanowar Elves. That's annoying to get into opt, but anyway, we'll just concentrate on ramping. That is what we want to do on each of our turns, typically with Maelstrom Wanderer. I've just seen opt, and I'm wondering if opt was a replacement for Brainstorm now, actually. I'm trying to remember what cards were unbanned. Brainstorm was banned and then was unbanned, I think. So, yeah, I'll have to go through the deck list and make sure that it's at least semi-optimal. We'll get a basic island with the Sakura Tribe Elder, I think. And then we are up and running with a Worn Power Stone next turn. And then we'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, so we could probably go into Mana Reflection the turn after. Although our opponent is in green mana, so they can get rid of artifacts and enchantments quite easily. Although they might blow up the Worn Power Stone if they have anything in hand. Okay, Nature's Law isn't terrible. That means that we can ramp out a little bit more than we would have done. We'll get another red source and yeah, we'll get a red and green source, I think, which would mean Tiger Uppercut. And then get down the Worn Power Stone and throw it back over to our opponent. And we have 2, 4, 6, 7 mana. So we can actually get straight into Maelstrom Wanderer next turn if we want to. But I think I'll go for Mana Reflection and hold up opt. That will either draw enchantment removal out of our opponent's hand, or they might play around a counter spell if they see that we have blue mana, 2 blue mana untapped. Might be seeing our opponent's commander here. Haven't been over our opponent's commander now that I think about it. That is a 5 mana Golgari commander. This tends to be a combo-centric commander, but I'm not sure what exact combos they have. Might look through their library with Bribery and try and make some sense of that. It's a 2/2 flyer. Whenever a player sacks a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We'll go for the Mana Reflection here, I think. And then I wonder... I think I might go for Lotus Cobra. Well, I've tapped the mana incorrectly now, so yeah, definitely will go for Lotus Cobra. If I was considering that, I should have held up the Breeding Pool. Then we would have had a choice between Opt and Lotus Cobra. As it stands now, if our opponent doesn't get rid of the Mana Reflection, we'll have 4, 8, 12, 14 mana. Mana Reflection is an enchantment. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces twice as much mana instead. That means that Warm Power Stone instead taps for 4 mana. Mana Reflection is really good. It's literally a mana doubler, and it goes really well with Gaia's Cradle and Cabal Coffers, things like that. Our opponents sacked a Windswept Heath to grab themselves a forest, and therefore have gotten +1/+1 counters on all of their stuff. Out comes Slum Reaper. Each player sacrifices a creature. That's what I was worried about, and is half the reason that I got the Lotus Cobra out, because I was hoping to get a sacrifice effect out of our opponent's hand. I didn't want them to use it on our Maelstrom Wanderer. I'd rather it went on Lotus Cobra. I think we will go for Maelstrom Wanderer next turn. 2 creatures getting sacrificed, so Mazirek puts 2 +1/+1 counters on everything, and we're going to get dealt a hefty wad of damage here. But our opponent might have something like a Wormcoil Engine, something like that, so we'll see what they have anyway. 9 damage coming in, knocking us down to 19. Well, 5 commander damage from our opponent. Consecrated Sphinx is nice. I think I want to concentrate on getting down the Maelstrom Wanderer right now. And now we cascade twice, so hopefully get something good here. It's a little bit random with Maelstrom Wanderer sometimes. Or most of the time, actually. Well, there's a Karn Liberated, that'll do. And then I think instead of Consecrated Sphinx, I'm going to go for Opt here. And see if we can... Well, we draw a card, don't we? Yeah, I'll put that on top and draw into it. I was thinking I could stack the top of my library with Opt there, but you scry before you draw. Okay, we'll cast that. We get another mini cascade there. You can see the value that you can grab with Maelstrom Wanderer. Well, there we go. We might as well get a little mana dork in. They are blockers at least. And then we can get down the Mana Confluence and we'll exile our opponent's commander with Karn. And then I think I want to... Yeah, I think I want a Consecrated Sphinx. Heroic Intervention gives the permanents hexproof and indestructible until the end of the turn, which means that Karn Liberated's ability can no longer target the Mazirek, so by the looks of it, they've actually beaten our... Well, they might think they have. Now, do we just go for bribery? No, I think I do just want to get down Consecrated Sphinx, and I think I will. I think I will block with the Consecrated Sphinx if our opponent swings in with Mazirek. Let's go in with... We'll go in with these 2 things. Actually, no, I'll hold those back. I'll just go in with the Maelstrom Wanderer. If our opponent has another sacrifice effect, we will sacrifice Maelstrom Wanderer. That's the problem with Maelstrom Wanderer decks, is that you don't mind... Well, it's a problem for our opponent, is that we don't mind recasting Maelstrom Wanderer over and over again, as long as we have the mana for it, which we currently do. We're happy to have Maelstrom Wanderer sacrificed, and then we can recast it again. 7 commander damage on our opponent. They can only take that hit another 3 times. And we are going to draw a couple of cards from Consecrated Sphinx, unless they have instant speed removal for us. They could sacrifice their Llanowar Elf to make Mazirek into a 6/6, and then we've got a decision to make as to whether or not we want to block with Consecrated Sphinx or not. But Crystal Shard makes it so that we can bounce Mazirek if they don't leave up enough mana. Or we could just use it to bounce our own Maelstrom Wanderer, which is the real reason it's in the deck. This thing is blue and a tap, or you can pay 3 generic and tap, return a target creature to its owner's hand, unless its controller pays a generic mana. We're obviously not going to force ourselves to pay mana, we just want to target our own Maelstrom Wanderer just so that we can cast it again. May go for that next turn. Ooh, Merrin of Clan Nel Toth is... that is going to be difficult. They can sacrifice Llanowar Elves to Viscera Seer, or just sack Viscera Seer to itself, get an experience counter with Merrin, and then Merrin will bring back a 1-drop next turn. So that's effectively a free experience counter that they can get going with Merrin. Yeah, that's pretty tricky. Now the question is, do we want to block with... well, our opponent might make the decision easy for us if they're trying to go wide to kill Karn, which it looks like they are. Yeah, we just let Karn die here then. And that means we keep our Consecrated Sphinx, which is fine. As it stands now, we have 16 mana, I think. 4, 8, 12, 16. And that means that 7 mana... oh, what is that? That is 9 mana left over. Just concentrate on what my opponent's doing here. They've decided to sack Viscera Seer to itself. They get a Scry 1, an experience counter from Merrin, and a +1/+1 counter onto everything. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm trying to work out if Boundless Realms is a possibility next turn. Fishing out lots of basics from our library is particularly frightening when we have a Mana Reflection in play. They get a land drop, which means Crystal Shard is even more out of the question with regards to bouncing their creatures back to their hand. They'll get their Viscera Seer back here, I imagine. Although they could go for Slum Reaper back into the hand. No, they're getting Viscera Seer back onto the battlefield. Now in Scroll Rack, we can actually use to great advantage. Yeah, we can actually get both Bribery and Boundless Realms off here. No, we can't, because they both shuffle, don't they? In that case, we'll just put Boundless Realms on top and keep Bribery in our hand. So Crystal Shard comes down. We will activate Boundless Realms. No, we won't. We'll activate Scroll Rack and put Boundless Realms on top of our library. And say done. And we get a Worm Coil Engine, which is nice. That means we go for an activation on the Crystal Shard. We go Maelstrom Wanderer. And we won't pay the 1 mana. And then we cast Maelstrom Wanderer again. And we are going to cascade into that Boundless Realms. And we'll just tap down the Mana Confluence, I think. And then we get to cascade twice. Once goes into Boundless Realms. Search your library for up to X basic lands and put them onto the battlefield, where X is the number of lands you control. We get to search for 6 here. We'll go for 2 blue lands, 2 forests. Now we'll go for 3 forests and a mountain. That is all but one of our basics. And then Maelstrom Wanderer cascades into just a Jiraga Tree Speaker but that is more mana for us at least. If Maelstrom Wanderer ends up back in the command zone. I think I will leave back... I'll leave back the Consecrated Sphinx just in case our opponent does anything tricky with Mazirek and gets a bunch of +1/+1 counters on there. It's pretty cautious, but I don't know what our opponent's got going on. They may well have a tutor in hand and be able to do something crazy next turn. Okay, they're going for Viscera Seer, block and sack. That means that they don't have Viscera Seer for next turn. Our opponent getting rid of a sacrifice outlet is fine with me. Shows that they're worried about damage being put on them as well, which kind of suggests to me that they're on the back foot. And it's the same again, sacrificing the Viscera Seer for a Scry 1, an experience counter, and a +1/+1 counter on everything. But Meren of Clan Nel Toth will only bring that Viscera Seer back at the end of our opponent's turn. It won't trigger at the end of ours. And our damage from Maelstrom Wanderer won't go through because it was blocked by the Viscera Seer. And unfortunately, our Maelstrom Wanderer doesn't have trample. Might be an addition to make to the deck, actually, a Rancor or something like that. I think Rancor would be quite good. I'm just trying to think as well if I have Prophet of Kruphix was banned as well, and that was recently unbanned, so yet another card that I think would be a good addition to the deck, especially with something like Boundless Realms. Brings everything in tapped. So if we could untap with Prophet of Kruphix, yeah, I'm just kind of brainstorming as I play here. I literally haven't played this deck in a year or two. Now that a lot of cards have been unbanned, I think it's a good time to pull it out and see if there's anything worth doing with this deck. All depends on whether or not you all enjoy watching it, of course. Now then, our opponent seems to be wanting to push damage through here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 commander damage will be on. I don't know if there's a means of our opponent giving double strike in these colours. Maybe buffing it and... yeah, I don't see what they're going to do with one card. I'm going to be cautious and just throw the Consecrated Sphinx away. Just because they seem confident. They might have been just offering up the trade there. They most likely were. I don't know if they should be attacking. If they don't have anything, then they shouldn't really be attacking, because we could potentially get a lot of power on the board and swing in with haste, so it doesn't necessarily look like they had anything. Maybe a board wipe. Can they afford Decree of Pain? Hornet Queen, okay. That's difficult. That's something that I would have liked to have grabbed with Bribery, maybe. Maybe we are in line for a board wipe now. Don't know if we have any. We surely have Cyclonic Rift in the deck. They can grab their Viscera Seer back now and get a lot of sacrifice triggers on the go. Create some big flyers now. Alright, Hinterland Harbour. I think we can try and do the same again. But there's nothing on top of the library that or nothing that I want to put on top of the library, I don't think. I definitely want to get Bribery going. And see if we can do anything about these Hornet Queen and the insects. Do we want to bounce Mazirek? I think we just need to... yeah, let's just bounce the Maelstrom Wanderer and see what we can get into here. Leaving up the the 2 mana dorks as blockers because I don't know if we're going to be able to block effectively. Well, Avenger of Zendikar, wish I'd waited for my land. I played the Hinterland Harbour this turn, if memory serves. We at least get a boatload of blockers there. And then we cascade into... Well, Miri's Guile isn't terrible. It's not the flashiest cascade, though. And then how's about a bribery? We'll tap this down so that we can get Birds of Paradise into play as well. Hopefully our opponent's got something good for us here, some kind of mass removal on a creep. Oh, well, that does it. So I have no idea what we could have gotten there, but maybe our opponent runs something crazy like Blightsteel Colossus or something like that. Yeah, that'll happen once in a while. I don't think... Just a word of advice to anyone, there's always a chance that your opponent doesn't choose the thing that you're scared of them choosing. Don't get me wrong, if they had a Blightsteel or something like that, then we would have chosen it, but there's clearly something in our opponent's deck that they really didn't want us to have. Eldrazi or something like that, maybe. Even Eldrazi they could have played around because they potentially had a lot of damage in the air that we couldn't have blocked. Yeah, they should have played that out maybe, but that was a pretty good showing for the Maelstrom Wanderer, I think. That shows the type of stuff that we want to do. And yeah, I'm going to have a quick flick through the deck now and see if there's any additions to be made. But hopefully you all enjoyed that. If you didn't, then I'm sure I'll see it in the views and I won't bother playing it anymore. But if you do like it, then be sure to let me know and I'll add it to the rotation. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.